Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sit, Knit, and Page Flip, the cozy podcast where literature meets fiber arts. Join me, Miss Makeda R, as I blend my passion for reading and crafting in a warm and inviting space designed for book lovers, knitters, and fiber artists alike. Each episode, you'll enjoy engaging discussions about your favorite books while sipping on a cup of tea, wine, or coffee. So get ready for a delightful conversation about your latest literary gems, classic reads, and everything in between, all while sharing tips and tricks for knitting and other fiber arts. Whether you're nestled in your favorite chair with a good book or working on your latest project, this podcast is the perfect companion. So grab your needles, your favorite beverage, and let's create a tapestry of stories together. All right, so welcome to the podcast. And today I am so excited because I'm actually doing something new. I'm doing a live podcast recording, and I'm doing this over on Chatter, but I also have my tech stack set up. And if you know anything about me, then you know that I am a tech lover, so I am so excited about this. And if you are a subscriber on our YouTube channel, then you'll be able to get a visual of this. But if you're not, then it's okay. I'm going to do my best to really explain everything so you don't miss out on what I'm doing. So over here in Chatter, I am knitting, and eventually I may do a interactive session where people can kind of talk with me about what they're working on, their ideas, and really give input on, how much you love your books, your hobbies, and maybe even what you're drinking. Maybe you can show me some of that. But for now, we're just gonna keep it going the way that it is until I get used to this. So yeah. Okay, so today's episode is about hobbies. Chatter has been an inspiration because while I've been hanging out on this new special platforms, I've been talking to people about their hobbies. I've been asking a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of feedback, and what they've shared with me is really interesting. One thing I do want to say to you is that because it's a new experience, you may hear my dog in the background, but I'm going to do my best to remove her from the podcast. That being said, if you have a pet, then you know how excited they can get when the FedEx man comes, and my dog is no different. Especially when I get a book package, I can't hide it from her. I think she's more excited about it than I am because she always tries to take it from us. Okay, so over the past few weeks, I have been spending a lot of time working on some of my favorite hobbies. I've been knitting, I've been crocheting, I've been reading a little bit, and to be honest with you, I've actually picked up something else. This other thing I did not expect to pick up. I just happened to be surfing on TikTok one day, and I learned about beadable pens. I dove straight in. I actually just started ordering on Amazon. I got a few beadable pens. The next thing I knew, I had a bunch of beads. The next thing I knew, me and my daughter were sitting down making beadable pens. And so if you're here on TikTok or here on Chatter, I'm going to show you what they look like. So in podcast land, I'm actually holding my pink Boss Babe pen, and it is kind of a metallic pink with these sparkles on it. It has a sparkly bead and kind of like a disc, a globe on top. And in between, it's a pink and black Boss Babe. Now, this is a twisty pen, like it's a ballpoint twist in order for the pen to come out. And it writes pretty good. I'm not sure how long it'll last, but I made a few of these. I'm going to show you some of them here for Chatter and YouTube. This one is the black and white cross pen. Some of these have already been purchased because I was showing them, and I got on this new app called Whatnot and sold some Whatnots, some pens, some yarn, a few different things. This is actually a red pencil that my daughter designed, and it does have these black and white, I don't even know what these are called. Some of them are silicone beads and some of them are not, but it also has the little Spider-Man. So we're actually going to give this one to my nephew because he loves Marvel and, DC characters. So we have a few other ones, but we're going to go ahead and give this one to him. He is in 2nd grade, and I think he's going to love it. I'm not sure how he'll use the eraser, but I think he's going to really love the pencil itself. All right. This is one that my daughter made, and she is actually 16, and she made it for her little sister. And if you know anything about the young people, they are so excited about, what is this thing called? I have to ask her. And I don't know why I just drew a blank. But it's basically, it looks like a little raccoon, but that's not what it's called. I'm going to get it and I'm going to have to put it in the show notes because I just completely lost the name of it. This other one is the 100 Days pin, which I am also created. Now, I do have to glue the top on, but it's designed really nice. And so now I have a new hobby. I think I had enough hobbies already, but you know, as someone who's really into hobbies, you know how it is. Sometimes we just add on an additional hobby. So now I have a new hobby and it's making beadable pins. I'm going to be sharing the hobbies that I'm really into here on this podcast. We've already kind of gotten into my knitting and my crocheting and things like that. But as I do more and get into more, I'm going to be sharing those things with you. I've been hanging out on Chatter and I've been talking about hobbies. I asked some people a few days ago what it was that they were into. And I just want to tell you over here in the podcast land, because you cannot see, but if you do go over to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it. I am actually working on a pair of socks. I just want to kind of give you that visual for right now. I'll explain exactly what it looks like, but I am using a pair of knitting needles and I'm knitting in the round and I'm working on these socks. But while over on Chatter, I actually asked some questions. What I learned is that the term hobby is different for everyone. You know, while I'm talking about my hobbies, I'm talking about my knitting, I'm talking about my crocheting, I'm talking about weaving, you know, making jewelry and things like that. But when I asked the question, what are your hobbies? I was pleasantly surprised by the answer that I got. Some people told me that they enjoy walking and running and working out. Other people explained that, you know, they love doing yoga. Some told me that they enjoy cooking. And one gentleman told me he does disc throwing. I immediately thought about the type of disc throwing from when I was in high school, and it was something that they did at track and field. But he said, no, it's different. It's actually a frisbee. He tosses it. It goes into like a cage. I haven't looked it up, but I did tell myself I'm going to because I do want to find out more about it. Then someone else explained, you know, they are really into art. They love painting and things of that nature. Now, what I found really interesting was that the person who told me about the cooking actually said that they didn't have any hobbies and they just started talking about cooking. But the way that they talked about cooking, the way that they talked about their love for the food and how putting the plate together, how it made them feel good, how it was something that they went back to often when they needed something to do. And what I realized is that's how I feel about my hobbies. That's how I feel about my knitting. That's how I feel about my crocheting. That's how I feel about all the things that I do that are special to me. And so, you know, cooking, that's definitely a hobby if it's hobby-ish. The most important thing that I realized as we had this conversation was that it's really important that we find time and make space for the things that we love, that we give ourselves the ability to express ourselves, you know, express ourselves through our art, express ourselves through our activities, express ourselves through what it is that, you know, we love and we enjoy. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to talk about it here today, is because I really feel like hobbies are important to our lives. They are our passions. And while we're working on expression, I want to encourage you to work on, I don't really know if this is the word, but impression. I want you to work on how the things you do make you feel. It's not just about expressing yourself so that the world can see it. It's also about doing things so that you can see it, so that you cultivate a wonderful place within you that feels good about what you do, about the experiences that you have, about the journey that you're on, about the things that you create with your hands. Because most of these things we create with our hands, or even, you know, for the person who's in fitness, for the experience that they have when they're running or jumping or even, doing yoga. It all matters, and it's all really important. So I guess that's my encouragement for today is I want to encourage you to find things and spend time doing them. Spend time doing the things that make you happy. Because yes, cooking is a hobby because you love it. If you love it, that is, because I know not everybody loves cooking. We are going to talk about some of my hobbies, and I did kind of share with you about the beadable pens, but I just want to kind of give you a recap in case you're new here. I don't know if I said it already, but I am Mrs. Makeda R on many platforms, and I am a hobbyist. I'm really a fiber artist, and I love doing all things fiber arts, but there are some other things that I do too. So I knit, I crochet, I weave, I spin, I sew, I quilt, I write, I read, and now I make beadable pens. I got to add that to the list, and I'm kind of excited about it. So I have so much fun doing these things. I have so much fun with my hobbies. And there have been times in my life where my hobbies were the things that helped me push through, whether it was a hard pregnancy or a rough spot in my marriage, a move that we were doing where I didn't quite have community yet, or even times where, if I was experiencing pain in my body. My hobbies have been some of the things that help me get through. Of course, I have my spiritual practices and my prayer and, other things that I do, but it's always been nice to take a pair of socks with me on the go and just knit them wherever I am. Speaking of hobbies, my 11, almost 12-year-old is currently sitting outside on the porch painting 2 canvases. She came inside, she grabbed some paint, she grabbed a cardboard box, and she told me she needed some scissors and some paper. And now I hear her tapping away, and I see her outside this window painting a canvas. I get so proud of my children sometimes when they do this because I love to see how they express themselves. And as a reward, I oftentimes hang or put their art all over the house. And I'm also big on investing in what it is that they do because I want to encourage them to continue to do it. They don't have to love the same art that I love. They don't have to have the same hobbies that I have. But I want to encourage them, and I do my best to encourage them to have hobbies, to love the art that they love, and to do the things. But before I got started with this new hobby, I did something I didn't think I would ever do. I sold some of my yarn. I got on a platform called Whatnot because I was doing a little bit of an experiment, and I started sharing the yarn that I have. And before I knew it, my yarn was selling like, I don't know, hotcakes, is that what they would say? Or sweet cookies? Baked goods at a fundraising event. My yarn was really selling. And within a matter of days, really, in the first 3 hours, because I did sit on there for 3 hours, it was an experiment, I had made $289. And I was so surprised. My husband, he asked me, he was like, "What are you doing? Are you just showing it to them?" And I said, "No, they're actually buying it." And his mouth dropped wide open because when do I sell yarn? It was some of the yarn that I've actually had for over 18 years now. I did not expect it to sell. I just wanted to see, what was going to happen because I had heard someone talking about the platform. I heard them talking about how it's really popular to sell things like they do on QVC. And I wanted to see what would happen. And I don't have anything else to sell that, I thought anybody would want, not in that capacity. So I just sold some yarn. And that is where I learned about the beadable pens. Let's talk about this yarn haul that I did. I want to share some of the yarn that I picked up over the past, 30 days? I think that's how long it's been since my last podcast. And yes, I know there was supposed to be another one. It's sitting on my computer. It needs to be edited, and I'm going to edit it so that I can put it out. But the truth is, you haven't heard from me in about a month. And so while you've been over there, hopefully working on your hobbies, I've been here working on mine. And shopping. I am going to put the yarn down because, again, I am knitting. And in podcast land, just so you know, I am working on a pair of purple socks. The yarn is a sparkly superwash wool. I have gotten it from Tempting You Yarns, and I did do a 2-rib for the cuff, and then I'm working in stockinette in the round. If you are here and you would like to see the actual visual, for those of you, if you're in chatter, you do get to see it live. But if you're in podcast land and you cannot see it, then you can hop on over to my YouTube channel. You'll get to see a short 15-minute clip of this on the Sip, Knit, and Page Flip YouTube channel. And that's just because until the page gets more followers and isn't as new, they'll allow me to upload more videos. But until then, the entire episode will be visible over on Mrs. R's Books and Things. That is a channel that I've had for a really long time, where I talk about my books, my hobbies, and all the things. And there I have full permission to upload. So while I am going to describe the yarn for you, if you want to see it, then I invite you to go over to the YouTube. All right, so we are going to get started with the yarn that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. And later on, when we talk about the projects that I'm working on, you will see that I've already been using some of this, and I hope that you love how it's coming out as much as I do, because I think it's really great. I have this, I love this yarn, and it is in this purple color. The color is actually called Grape, this gray color, and it is a light gray. And these skeins are 100% acrylic yarn. They are 355 yards. And this is actually what I'm using currently to make a crochet blanket. So I'm working on granny squares, and I will be showing them. I'll also post them in the show notes. I'll post some pictures of them. This one here is not from a yarn haul, but I did buy more of it, and it's because I'm already doing the granny squares. And so it's called I Love This Yarn. It's a white and pink, purple, orange, and yellow speckled yarn. It's called Drizzle Me This. It's really pretty. I did get 3 of the Drizzle Me This. I have 2 of the grape, and then I have the purple and the gray, because I want to see how these colors are going to work up when I do the crochet blanket. I actually think they're going to be really nice. And we're going to get into some of these other goodies. All right, we have some more I Love This yarn, but this is I Love This cotton, and it's in a gray. Then I have a skein of I Love This cotton print, and this one is in a cream color with this red and green, it's like splashes on it, and it's called Woods. I'll be honest, when I purchased this, I'm sure I knew what I was going to do with it, but now I have no idea. It's just sitting in my stash. And then this one is I Love This cotton, and it's pink. I think initially I wanted to make a market bag with it, because when we go to the grocery store, I oftentimes buy the grocery bags and then I leave them at home. So I figured maybe if I made some of my own, I'll remember to take them with me. Here is another I Love This cotton. It is more of a deeper gray, and that colorway is pewter. And then I have I Love This cotton in white. Now for these two, I think I'm gonna make some rags, kitchen rags, wash rags, face rags. I think that's what I'm gonna do with them. Now we have this Barocco in this white, and this is 100% wool. I got this yarn because I wanted to just try it out. I've never knit with this Lannis Light 100% wool yarn. Barocco is one of my favorites, so I've definitely used it, but I've never used this version of it. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's nice and fluffy and squishy, and I think I'm actually going to love working with it. I took a trip to the yarn shop, and I picked up this beautiful organic cotton and alpaca yarn. It is in this pink with I guess you could say, tinges of black all throughout. And the company is called Duna. And it's made in Peru, which is exciting. This yarn feels so good, and I think I'm going to make a summer top with it. This one might be crochet, and I'm not sure if the color is picking up, but it is there it goes. It is a pink color with tinges of black in it. The weight for the yarn, it is 18 yards, and I'm thinking that this is like a fingering weight. It's not quite lace, but it feels really good. I have 3 skeins of this, and this should be enough for me to make that summer top that I want to make. I also have this same yarn in I think this is called camel, but I'm not quite sure. Let's see. This same yarn is the colorway. They just have numbers. They're not colors, but this is more of a goldish color. It does have a tinge of green to me, but again, this is the same weight of yarn. I may make another summer top, but this one is going to be knitted. So for the pink one, I'm going to do a crochet top, and for the gold one, I'm going to do a knitted top. I wanted to work on different things this year that I could wear that would be lightweight throughout the summer, that I could enjoy, and that would be quick projects for me to work on. Next, I picked up this gorgeous pink Illimani Sabri, and I'm sure I'm destroying the name, 85% cotton and baby alpaca. So the other one was 60% organic cotton and alpaca. This one is 85% organic cotton and 15% baby alpaca. This is 437 yards, and it is a beautiful peach color, which I did get to make another spring/fall garment. This one I am going to knit, and because it has more yardage on it, it won't be as open and airy, but I think it's going to come out really nice. It doesn't take a lot to make a garment. It's just about finding the right pattern and deciding that, this is the one I'm going to use. And last but not least, I think I got this Rowan yarn. And this Rowan yarn is baby cash soft merino, and they are 50-gram skeins. So it's actually, I believe, cashmere and wool. Yes, it's 57% wool, 33% acrylic, and 10% cashmere. Now this feels so good in my hands. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it's not enough to make a sweater or a shawl. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a cowl or a scarf or maybe even a hat. But I have these 2 colors, and the first one is, do they have a name on them? Probably not. But this is kind of like a grayish tan, crazy color. And this one is kind of like that pink. And obviously, I don't know, what is mauve? Obviously, I'm loving this color for this month because these are 2 different yarns, and it's very similar to the first one that I shared. Again, I know this is an audio podcast, but for those of you who don't mind going over to YouTube and checking it out, you can see what I'm sharing. Now, my family and I, we took a trip to the DC area because my husband's friend was retiring, and while we were gone, I decided to do a little bit of yarn shopping, of course. I never skip out on yarn shopping, not if I can help it. And it was so funny because it was the last day. We were about to leave, and I was like, hey, babe, I know it's kind of out of the way, but I really want to go to this yarn shop. We went to the yarn shop, and I picked up this Ulysses yarn, and I got it in this white with little black speckles. Actually took 2 different trips because I did one the first night we got there and then right before we left. And so the first night we got there, I picked up the Ulysses yarn, and I got it in this cream color. And again, there's that pink. And so this yarn is, let's see what it's made of. I think, yep, it's 100% wool. And so, as you know, wool is not just wool. A lot of times the wool depends upon like where it came from, what type of sheep it came from, how it was processed, how it spun up. Was it dyed? Is it chemically processed or not? Because they're all different. The first night I picked up this yarn, and the yarn shop was such a beautiful place. It was actually on the corner downtown. I think it was in Virginia. And when we walked inside, there was yarn everywhere, but there was an upstairs, and the design was so beautiful. It was yarn all over the walls. There were shelves of yarn, and the thing is, it was like walking into a yarn art museum. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to regular yarn shops where, it's just boxy, or I don't know why I was in such, I guess, awe of the place. But it just made me feel like it was special. It was kind of like a gallery per se, I guess. There were mannequins all over. They each looked different, and they were each dressed differently. And it was funny. One of them scared me, but I really loved it. We went upstairs, and that's where there were like 15 or 20 knitters and crocheters, and they were just sitting around laughing and knitting and crocheting. And even though this place was so nice, it wasn't that big. It wasn't a big studio. It was cozy. It was nice. And if I lived there, I think I would go back again. I think I can say the same thing about the second place that we visited, because it was the same feel, but it was upstairs on top of a store. I guess you could call it like a bodega. And once we went up the stairs, it was like a cozy little apartment that had been turned into a yarn shop. And it had this huge window where underneath the window was a bookcase, and the bookcase was full of yarn. And it was just giving like a great view of the street. And it had a nice couch, and I sat on the couch and my daughter took pictures, and that was a nice experience too. But to me, this is the point of my hobby. This is the point of what I do when I do it, is because when we go out of town and when we travel, I get to sit and, knit, but I also get to explore. I get to go to these places, and I get to shop and build memories. And then, like now, I am literally in my mind thinking about this experience. I am literally enjoying, what this was like for me. And to me, it was pretty cool. So that second yarn shop, I got this baby Corandale yarn, which is so cool because I don't think I have any of this. And this is white. It's not dyed. It's a natural yarn. And this is just a different type of wool, basically. So I only grabbed one because when I go out of town and I buy yarn like this, I'm just really getting it so that I can enjoy it, so I can experience it. And so this was the last thing that we picked up when we left that area. I do want to take a minute to tell you that I really am honored that you have decided to come stop in here with me and join me in my podcast. If you are someone that would like to connect outside of just listening, feel free to jump over into the show notes and find a link to the Discord. The Discord is a place where you can come and you can join and you can connect. And we're going to talk about all kind of things in the Discord. We're going to talk about the books that we read. We're going to talk about the projects that we work on, and you'll be able to share these things. And so there's a link. If you tap on it, you'll get an invite, and you can join and connect with me and the other people that are in there. And I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to see what you're working on. I'd love to talk about what you're reading. So yeah, consider coming over and becoming a member of my Discord. I did want to tell you about some of the projects I finished. It's been a long time coming. I kept a project a secret for a while. I literally blocked my mom on my crafty TikTok because I did not want her to see this project that I made. And I kept it in the car when I went to visit her, and one time she called me on FaceTime and I was working on it and I almost forgot to hide it. But I'm finally finished and I'm so excited, so I'm gonna show it to you. But before I do, I'm gonna blow out this candle because I don't want to burn it. Okay. So the thing that I made my mom is this shawl, and it is purple and black. And for those of you who are live, you may not get a full view of it, but it is the half and half shawl by Pearl Soho. I still have to weave in the ends, and I do have to block it, but this yarn was so much fun to work on until the end when I was ready to be done with it. But up until that point, I really did enjoy it. I really did love working on it. It's so squishy. It is 100% wool, and it can be washed. It's not one of those things that's gonna felt because it is super wash. And I did it in this purple / pink. It's like a fuchsia color. I did it in these colors because my mother loves pink, but I didn't think that the bright pink would be what she would want to wear all the time. And she might wear this to church. So I also gave her the black on the other side so that she could actually fold it over and wear it, or she could use it, you know, to cover her lap. And it's big enough basically to be like a blanket. So this is the Pearl Soho half and half shawl. It took me over 2.5 months to make. Now, I did not consistently work on it every single day, but it was a great project. And I made myself one. So I would definitely continue to make these as gifts just because they're easy to knit, and I think she's gonna love it. So this weekend is Mother's Day. I missed her birthday. I didn't not get it done in time for her birthday, but because it's Mother's Day, I'm gonna make sure it's finished and I'm gonna give it to her this weekend, and I hope she loves it. I also hope that when I post this video, she does not see it until Mother's Day when I give it to her, because I've been doing my best to keep it a secret, but I've got to release this podcast, and I hope she doesn't see it. Okay, another project that I worked on and finished is my daughter's shawl. And I am not sure what it's called. I would have to look it up. Oh, it's called My Project Piece. See, that's why I have show notes, because I wrote it in my show notes. This is called My Project Piece and My Project Piece shawl. And it is a gradient yarn. It goes from the greens, the teals, gray, dark gray, and then it fades into a white. And it still has to be blocked, but it does have a lace section of it. It has kind of like a lacy pattern here. I hope this is so pretty because you can see it does have like this fan lace pattern in it. And so my daughter has been asking me for quite some time. She normally just takes my shawl, and then she asked me, Mom, can you make me one? So I made her one. And I was gonna wait and give it to her for her birthday, but I decided just to give it to her. And she saw it and she loves it. It still has to be blocked, but I think she's really gonna enjoy using it whenever we go to the restaurant. She's cold, she doesn't have to take mine anymore, she'll have her own. I think it's made from the Medela yarn that can normally be purchased at like Walmart, but I would have to check my Ravelry account to make sure. So those are the two things that I finished. And I do want to share that one of my favorite apps is called Knit Companion. And Knit Companion is an app that I downloaded from my iPad, and I upload any of the knitting patterns or the crochet patterns that I'm using, and it really helps me to track my progress from my projects. It is something that it is a paid app. You do have to make a small investment, but it is my opinion that it's really worth it. I'm going to pull up Knit Companion because this is going to help me share the projects that I'm currently working on. So one of the things I'm working on is the Nuala Cape, and I'm going to show you a picture of it. I will describe it for those of you who are in podcast land and cannot see. Okay, here it is. Hopefully you can see it. Let's see. So this is the Nuala Cape, and Y'all can let me know if you can see it with a thumbs up there and chatter. And I am going to be working on it in purple. I've already started. I'm working on the neck. And I really think this is going to be so beautiful. I'm looking forward to wearing it during the fall, the late fall, moving into the winter. And so once I finished working on my mother's shawl, I started working on this. So let me show you what that looks like. This is that cape. This is the neck of it. It is it's called heather. And the yarn is basically a purple with a lot of different, I guess, blue and kind of gold highlights. But it depends on how you look at it because it kind of looks a little reflective. That's really the only way that I know how to explain it. The neck of this is supposed to be 10 inches long. And I think I'm really close. I'm probably about 8 or 9 inches at this point, and then I have to get to 10 inches, and then we'll begin working on the shoulder of the, I don't know if I would call this a shawl, a capelet. That's what it is. It's a capelet, a cape. I'm not making the capelet because the capelet is going to be way too small. I want to be nice and warm and snug under this thing, so that's why I'm making the cape version. This yarn comes from Knit Picks. It is 100% wool as well, but it's not scratchy wool. It feels really nice. I do have a lot of it, so I have enough to actually finish this project.
Unfortunately, my phone's battery was low and so the recording stopped, but I will make sure to post some videos and some pictures here so you can see the projects that I finished and you can learn about some of the bookish things that I talked about. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to join the community. Check us out over on Discord. And again, I'm so glad that you decided to join me here. I look forward to connecting with you next time. Until then, bye.